All right, ladies and gentlemen. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Hogwarts Legacy 2. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why are we talking about Hogwarts Legacy 2? We don't even know about anything regarding this game. We don't know literally anything. We haven't seen the story. We haven't seen screenshots. Not a damn thing. Well, the reason why we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy 2 is because we have been blessed with by far one of the best articles that I've ever seen in my career of doing YouTube. And that has to be from somebody over at Game Rant by the name of Megan Lorich. Now, Megan Lorich has decided to write this article essentially threatening the people who are behind Hogwarts Legacy with the following headline: Hogwarts Legacy 2 cannot sidestep the franchise's biggest controversy. Now, I want you guys to keep something in mind as you're watching this video. These are the people that complain about people like myself who make videos talking about issues in the gaming industry. They say we always talk about controversy. They say that we are always complaining about things. And yet here they are talking about something that everybody loves and trying to turn it into a controversy because they failed the first time. They're going to fail again. You know, spoiler alert, they're going to fail again. But regardless, they're trying to turn this into a controversy before the game even gets showcased. Now, here's the funny thing about all of this, okay? They say for years, the Harry Potter franchise has dominated pop culture, with Hogwarts Legacy acting as the franchise's most popular video game adaptation. It's no wonder that controversy surrounding the franchise has sprung up at some point, as the first Harry Potter book was released almost 30 years ago. Nevertheless, it's disappointing that such a well-loved piece of pop culture has been sullied in the eyes of many Potterheads, despite new content for the franchise, like Hogwarts Legacy, continuing to release. Now, you're probably asking yourself, ladies and gentlemen, who's been sullied? Who has been sullied? Whose eyes have been sullied in regards to Hogwarts Legacy? Because last I checked, ladies and gentlemen, Hogwarts Legacy, by the same outlet, by the way, Game Rant, says Hogwarts Legacy passes another incredible sales milestone. Hogwarts Legacy sold over 30 million copies. So who exactly is this supposed to be sullied? I have no idea. But let's continue. It says, unfortunately, Hogwarts Legacy was unable to muddy the name of the Harry Potter franchise. While the game may have been met with a positive player and critic response, it was also the subject of boycotts upon release. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boycotts. How successful of a boycott? Again, let me show you. The game has sold over 30 million copies. This has to be one of the most successfully boycotted games in gaming history. Not only that, if you go to SteamDB, even on PC alone, the game hit almost 900,000 concurrent players on Steam just 2.7 years ago, with an estimated copies sold of over 10 million copies just on the Steam platform. So yes, this was clearly a very successful boycott by the likes of the journos and all of their weird wokey advocates. It says Avalanche Software and Warner Brothers Games tried to placate fans within the game itself, but the developer's attempt was poorly received. It goes without saying that Avalanche Software and Warner Brothers Games cannot try to avoid controversy the same way Hogwarts Legacy did in the game's allegedly slated sequel. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what are they talking about, right? Like, how did Avalanche try to supposedly placate fans? Well, what they did was, and I don't know if people realize this, but they added a trans person in the game. Okay, Sirona, who is basically I believe she's he, whatever, is the owner of the pub. They added Sirona to the game, and the trans people who tried to claim that the game does not have trans representation, that the game is violence towards trans people, got completely felted by the revelation that there was a trans person in the game. The bartender was a trans person. Once they found this out, guess what? They said, well, that's not good enough, right? You gave us a character who represents us, but we're not happy. Right? We're upset. We still want to pretend like it doesn't exist because we've been convinced that J.K. Rowling is the bad person. And even though she's not involved in this game really at all for the most part, we still want to hate something just because we think J.K. Rowling's involved. This is a prime example of what it's like to be on Twitter, where people make up this ideological version of you, even if it's true or not, and then they fight that version every single day on Twitter, whether or not it may or may not actually be true. They don't care. It's not about it being true. It's about them being justified in their actions towards you and making up a version of yourself that they can fight every single fucking day of their lives. So creeping through the promotion and marketing for Hogwarts Legacy prior to the release was the never-ending controversy. Gee, I wonder why it's never ending. Ladies and gentlemen, why is it never ending? The controversy of J.K. Rowling. It's never ending because you guys don't shut the fuck up about it. That's why it's never ending. You guys want to continue to harp on the same exact thing that J.K. Rowling has said, even though she ideologically agrees with you on 98% of everything else in the world. Just the one or two things that she doesn't agree with you, well, that's enough to get her killed. You know, that's enough to try to get her Charlie Kirk, because that's what they've been advocating for. I don't know if you guys realize that, but over on Twitter, they've been advocating for J.K. Rowling to be the next one to go. And this is something that's been happening for years now. Now, lucky for J.K. Rowling, she can afford, millions of dollars of security, but not many people are lucky, unfortunately. But this is the world we live in. Rowling's comments on the trans community in conjunction with the re-examination of portrayals of people of color. Now it's a racism problem. This is great. In the Harry Potter books have essentially reduced the legacy of Harry Potter from a juggernaut in young adult fiction to a nostalgic but messy memory. I like how they're trying to claim racism in the books. Meanwhile, like, there's literal race swapping happening, boys. Okay, like Hermione has been made black in the Cursed Child in the play. She's literally a black child. You have Snape literally becoming black. I mean, the one character that should never be black is becoming black in the new upcoming TV show. But no, apparently Harry Potter has a racism problem, even though they're constantly trying to virtue signal to these absolute psychopaths. And again, this is why I say they're just making up a version of something that they want to hate in their mind and attacking that version every day until they feel like they accomplished something, which they never accomplish anything, which is why they constantly, bicker and fucking complain all the time about the same exact thing over and over and over again. So in any case, the large majority of Rowling's comments were posted on her X account, with the catalyst of these views being publicly perceived when she liked a tweet in 2018 that described transgender women as men in dresses. Since then, she has constantly posted about the issue on X and has been publicly labeled a TERF. I like how they try to pass it to her, and they try to say that she has constantly posted on X about it. No. You guys have constantly posted on X about it. And she, every once in a blue moon, will choose one of you guys to sacrifice on the podium of public square and make fun of you and roast you to the end of time. She chooses one of you every few months. She doesn't constantly talk about it. You guys are the ones that are constantly talking about this bullshit. But anyway, it says that she has constantly posted about the issue on X and has been publicly labeled a TERF, which is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. Knowing J.K. Rowling's controversial positions on the trans community specifically led Avalanche Software and Warner Brothers Game to include a minor transgender character in Hogwarts Legacy. How do you know that? How do you know that? See, this is why I say they make the shit up just so they have an excuse to go after you. They're trying to make the claim that Sirona was added just because of the backlash to what's happening with J.K. Rowling. They don't have any real evidence of this. They're just thinking in their mind that there's no way there could be a trans character in this super bigoted game unless it was Jim just trying to placate to us. That's the only reason why they didn't add the character organically, which we might even agree with that to an extent, right? I don't think Sirona was added organically. I think Sirona was added to check a box, in my opinion. But I believe that they checked that box long before any of the drama was even happening. I think they fully planned to include this because, well, that's just the kind of developers we have at Warner Brothers. But anyway, apparently the game includes a minor transgender character in Hogwarts Legacy. Sirona Ryan is the main bartender at the Three Broomsticks in Hogsmeade. The game establishes that he, whatever, is fiercely loyal to Hogwarts and its students as he stands up to the Victor Rookwood in the key scene. Though it's always great to see more representation in any kind of media, Sirona Ryan does not truly add much to Hogwarts Legacy's plot other than being a minor NPC. Mind you, the game is filled with a bunch of other minor NPCs, but because this character happens to be trans, I guess that means that they cannot be a minor NPC. And this is what I mean by saying that they don't want equal rights. They don't want equal treatment because they already have equal rights. This is about having more treatment. This is about being treated as special. This is not about being treated as the same as everyone else. You can make a fucking trans character in the character creator, okay? Like you can make you can make your character trans and you can literally be the main character in the story. How much more special treatment do you want? Who gives a fuck about Sirona Ryan? Who cares? If you want a trans character to be important, You can literally make one in the character creator if you so choose to. These people, I swear to God, they're so unbelievably stupid. It's insane. It's never going to be enough for these people. That's what I keep trying to tell people. It's never enough. Make the game you want to make, because the moment you start bowing to these people, they're going to want more and more and more and more, until eventually it gets to a point where there's an entire bar that has nothing but trans people, trans customers, trans bartenders, all kinds of stuff. They're going to want the fucking elves to be trans at this point. It's ridiculous, man. Anyway, so let's continue. Though it's always great to see more representation, apparently it just wasn't enough. As such, some have viewed the character's addition as performative representation rather than a meaningful statement against Rowling. Why do you need a statement against Rowling? Why do you need a statement against Rowling in a game that she's not even involved in? What is the point of that? You guys are looking for blood, and you want someone to join your cause, and you're looking for the corporation to join your cause. But the corporation, the only side that they're going to join is the side of the money. And you guys proved that you don't have the numbers, not even close, because let me remind you, 30 million copies plus this game has sold in its lifetime. This is $1 billion franchise. Why would they listen to you? Why would they even remotely care what you have to say when you clearly amount to less than 1% of the population that is even remotely talking about this video game? What is the point of that? J.K. Rowling's harmful statements towards transgender community cannot be fixed by simply adding a transgender woman to her most popular work and main source of income. Oh my God, it's always about the money, bro. Like, it doesn't matter who you talk about. It doesn't matter like what the conversation is. It is always about the money. At the end of the day, it's always about you're making money talking about things that I don't like. Thus, it is wrong. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? You guys are making money talking about things I disagree with. I don't care what money you make from your articles, even though I know it's barely anything. I don't care. So why do you care about J.K. Rowling? Is because she's rich, she's white, and she spoke out against trans people being in female spaces. That is why. If it was a trans person saying it, you would not say a single thing. But because it's a white rich woman who is saying it, you have a problem with it, because it's all about the money. Because deep down, you know that if you had the opportunity to switch seats with J.K. Rowling, you would be there yesterday. We all know that's true. We all know this whole bigoted nonsense conversation means absolutely nothing if you were given the option to switch seats with J.K. Rowling and become as rich as her and to have her life. You absolutely know you would switch immediately. But in any case, candidly, there is nothing that Avalanche Software or Warner Brothers Games can do to avoid Rowling's controversial statements, as it's likely that she will never change her mind on the subject. But that doesn't mean the developer can't strive to improve the brand's trans representation with Hogwarts Legacy 2, likely with the intent of avoiding its predecessor's boycott that was due to Rowling's statement. Listen, I'm going to tell it to you like this, okay? Hogwarts Legacy was one of the only successful things that Warner Brothers did in that year and any year after that. Okay. Hogwarts Legacy was so successful that it was like the number 5th top selling game the year after it came out. It was the number 1 selling game the year that it came out. It got snubbed at every single Game Awards because of the whole drama that you guys were trying to spin up. And meanwhile, it still sold over 30 million copies, even with your bullshit tied to it. So it's very clear that nobody cares what you have to say. It's very clear that nothing you do will ever matter. I mean, look at the difference, right? Look at the difference. You guys claim that the boycott against Ghost of Antifa is not anything big, and meanwhile, the game hasn't even hit 2 million sales yet. Meanwhile, you guys boycotting a product manages to send it into $1 billion franchise that sells over 30 million copies. We are not the same, okay? We are not the same. So here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? Warner Brothers has done nothing good outside of Hogwarts Legacy, okay? They are a company that is $40 billion in debt. All right, they have more debt than some small countries. Do you really believe that they're going to sit there and risk it all for you? Do you really think they're going to sit there and risk everything for you? Maybe. Maybe you're right, because Warner Brothers as a company is a trash fucking company. But here's what I'm going to say to anybody who might be listening at Warner Brothers, which is probably nobody, because I imagine they probably all hate me. If you are listening at Warner Brothers, you need to make this game, this sequel, exactly like the first one, but better in every way. You already had trans representation in the game. You had it with Sirona. You had it with that NPC. You also had it with the character creator. If somebody wants to have trans representation in the game, they have the option to do so. If somebody doesn't want to have any trans representation in the game, they have the option to make a standard, regular, straight character. If somebody wants to have gay representation in the game, they have the option to make a gay character all they want. If somebody wants to have any of this stuff in the game, they have the option to do it because it is an RPG video game with a character creator. So if you want to put trans representation in the game, you have already done so by allowing it in the character creator. These morons don't understand that because they haven't played the game and they're looking for something to be angry at. So if I were you, I would make the game exactly how you did the first time, because anybody that cares about representation is already going to get the representation they're looking for through the means that you have provided in the first game. It's just going to be the same available in the second game, just better. Right. So hopefully you guys go full force into making the sequel that we all know that you should be making and that gamers actually want as a whole. Because whatever the fuck these losers want is never going to be in your best benefit. It's only going to be in their benefit, and they will love to see you fall. They would be the first ones that will be celebrating your downfall. The same people that say that we are toxic chuds because we track numbers and we talk about the failure of video games and the success of video games, and we're so numbers obsessed. These are the same people saying that to us. Meanwhile, they're the ones at a moment's notice that is advocating and desperately waiting for the failure of games like Stellar Blade, Hogwarts Legacy, any game that is antithetical to their ideology. They're the first ones waiting to celebrate it. So don't listen to these absolute losers, okay? Let's continue. Transgender Potterheads still exist despite Rowling's statement. So the expansion of Serona Ryan as a character could be one way that Avalanche Software and Warner Brothers Games attempts to prevent a hypothetical boycott. I like how they keep saying hypothetical boycott. You know why they're saying that? Because this is a threat. Okay. These people all speak on the same Discord servers. These people all speak in the same Twitter pages. Oh, I'm sorry, not Twitter. They do have Twitter, but they have alt accounts to pretend like they don't have Twitter. They speak in the same Blue Sky sections all the time. They are now trying to spin up controversy before anybody gets a chance to see the game, right? Because they know that the moment people see the game, it's going to result in everybody ignoring them. They know that. So they're trying to get ahead of the curve. They're trying to make it seem as if it's a hypothetical boycott, but I bet your ass that they are going to absolutely try to declare a boycott against Hogwarts Legacy 2. They're going to try to go after every streamer that's going to be streaming Hogwarts Legacy 2, just like they did it with the first one. They tried to get people canceled. They tried to get people doxxed. They actually tried to cause actual real harm to streamers that were streaming Hogwarts Legacy. It just happened to a VTuber recently. I forgot her name, but they tried to cancel her for playing Hogwarts Legacy in 2025. That's how desperate they are. That's how addicted to the hatred of Hogwarts Legacy they actually are, that they're still trying to do it even till this day. It's crazy. Right away, a few ideas spring to mind. Oh, I can't wait to hear these ideas. Serona Ryan's role as the head proprietor of the Three Broomsticks could be beneficial to the plot if the bar serves as a key location in Hogwarts Legacy 2. Perhaps she should once again come to defend her patrons like the main students of the hypothetical sequel. If the game takes the mystery route, Serona Ryan could essentially act as the archetypical trustworthy adult or mentor that mysteries led by teenagers tend to have. She could be a major quest giver and an ally on certain tasks, appearing regularly throughout the entire game. Another option would be to include a transgender student as one of the key protagonists or companions. And what does any of this have to do with anything, bro? This is the problem, right? Like when you have people creating an RPG, the first thing you should be thinking of is, how can I make this interesting? How can I make this quest interesting? How can I make this character interesting to the point where people are actually going to want to pay attention to the story of the character? How can I make that? All you're focused on is, how can I put a dick on a female? That's literally all you're focused on. You guys have such pea-sized brains that you can't think 5 seconds past your face when it comes to ideology. Ideology runs through you 100%, and it's all you do. It's all you live. And this is why you guys are not storytellers, right? You guys make up shit, don't get me wrong, but you're not storytellers at the end of the day. Everything you just mentioned either is already happening in the first game, or is just literally checking off boxes, which you claim that you guys don't advocate for. You claim that you don't do, and yet you are doing it. You are doing it by saying, add this character just because they're trans. That's it. Because she was already Serona was already part of the first game from the story perspective. And if you wanted to have a transgender student, make one. Make one. There is a character creator available for you. Make one. You have that option. You always have, and you will in the second game as well. So anyway, guys, this entire thing is absolute nonsense. They're getting completely fucking roasted. And if you go over to the Twitter page over here where they posted this, it is going viral right now. Let me refresh just to kind of get an idea of where we're at. Oh no, they got community noted. Oh, thank God I refreshed this. Oh, important distinction on the first game's supposed boycott, as it was a niche boycott attempt. The headline of this article could lead people to thinking it was an effective boycott. The total sales for Hogwarts Legacy as of March 2025 is estimated to be 35 million copies. Oh my God. You guys got wrecked in real time. In real time, ladies and gentlemen. That is a beautiful thing. And this is currently getting to almost 1 million views over on X. Guys, look at the ratio. Look at the ratio. Almost 1 million views, 100 likes, 100 bookmarks, 1,300 comments, 414 reposts. My comment, you guys boycotted the game into $1 billion franchise. Great work. 1,100 likes. Vera Dark simply posts a picture headline. Hogwarts Legacy has sold over 34 million copies. 3,300 likes. Endymion, the boycotts were from the game industry and not the fans, you dummy. 2K likes. Flash, the only controversy was from men in dresses and fat liberal women who are mad that J.K. Rowling made money. All they have to do is ignore these clowns and roll in money. 361 likes. J Viper, worst boycott in history. 650 likes. Smash JT, the original sold over 34 million copies, despite a pathetic attempt at a boycott. 964. Kyle is so better than any game that year because the identity entities offended don't matter. Whatever they did, they should do again twice as hard. Right about that, pussy. There's 29 likes. The boycotts did literally fucking nothing. It sold 22 million units by the end of its release year, and it has nothing to do with any approach. Their problem was with the very connection to Harry Potter. 968 likes. Guys, this is a beautiful thing, man. I'm so glad that they got community noted, and I'm sure that they are very upset about this. Now, granted, they obviously did this for rage bait, okay? But the funny thing is, they're not even monetized. They're not monetized on X. Game Rant, I want you guys to understand something. Game Rant hates Elon Musk that much. They refuse to get a blue check mark. They refuse, right? That's how much they hate Elon Musk. They don't want to have a blue check mark whatsoever because they don't want to give money to the chud, right? They don't want to do it. So in any case, guys, this is a hilarious story. And the fact that it got community noted brings us all the way full circle where we can all point and laugh at the journalists as they get ready to begin their hypothetical boycott, as they like to say, because we all know it's not hypothetical. We know they're planning it. We know they're crafting it, and they're trying desperately to spin the narrative and form a story that makes it seem as if the game is hated by everybody. And we all know that's not true. So you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this entire situation, about a supposed hypothetical boycott of Hogwarts Legacy 2? And if the game stays true to the first game, will you be playing Hogwarts Legacy 2? Because I know I will, and I will definitely stream it as I did the first one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.